it's Jennifer from Live, Laugh, Love to Read. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on Behind Closed Doors by Susan R. Sloan. And I bought this without a jacket, so I have it on my phone, what it looks like. Hope you can see it. This is an older book, so I bought it on thrift books on eBay. I don't remember where I seen it, but anyhow, I picked it. That's where I picked it up from. So I'm going to read you the synopsis off my phone, and then I'll tell you what I thought about it. I'm going to give it 4 stars, actually. Yeah, 4 stars. It says at 18, small-town Vermonter Valerie O'Connor marries gorgeous macho airplane mechanic Jack Marsh and moves with him to Seattle, then California, where she pursues her dream of raising a large family, and he pursues other women. Yeah. As disappointment turns to anger and need to rage, Jack turns to drink. Valerie bears the brunt of his outburst, though her children do not escape unscathed. But she fails to act until Jack's fury focuses on his grandson. So, only reason that I didn't give this 5 stars was because I didn't really like, well, the ending was good. I don't know. The beginning kind of shows you a little bit what's going to happen at the end, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was tied up good. Well, yeah, it kind of was. I don't know. I'm giving it 4 stars. Anyway, Valerie comes from a close-knit Irish Catholic family, and she was raised during the 1950s, so she's raised basically that the man is the head of the household, and you must do what he says, and, you know, all of that. That she's subservient to him. But little does she know that she's going to become his doormat, basically. Yeah. Because Jack is a damaged man. Yeah. He was raised, his father was abusive, and so he's very insecure. He loves Valerie so much that he never wants her to leave him, and so anything that she does or says that crosses him, makes him look cross-eyed, then he lashes out at her. Yeah. So they end up having 5 children. And so you go through the book, it goes through, I want to say 3 generations. And so during their marriage, Valerie learns not to say anything back to him because he will lash out at her. So I want to read you one passage. Actually, there's 2 passages that kind of explains what's going on. It says, so Jack works at an airline. He's an airline mechanic. Says Jack said he assured his boss that he appreciated having this challenging opportunity to serve the company, and that the raise should have gone along with the promotion could wait. On his way home in the rain, he stopped and bought a bottle of bourbon. Yeah, so Jack has a drinking problem, and when he drinks, he gets violent. So he tells Valerie, they fired Hurley because he was making top scale. They gave me the job because they knew they could get me cheap. Promotion? Psh, what a laugh. They just wanted someone to work for coolie wages. Valerie was serving dinner to the children. You could have been laid off, she reminded him, putting down the last plate and coming to take his dripping raincoat. What do you know? He snarled at her, dropping into a chair, slopping a measure of bourbon into a glass from the table and downing it in one gulp. The children stared at him silently. Valerie shrugged. I guess I don't really know anything, she said mildly, bending to retrieve his wet shoes. Except that you've been with Federal Airline for such a long time, and they've always treated you right. Maybe now they're looking to get some of that loyalty back. Jack knew the airline had been good to him all these years. He just didn't like the idea of being taken advantage of. He supposed he did owe them his loyalty, but he hated it when Valerie was right. He lashed out at her, his right foot catching her in the abdomen, knocking her off her feet, sending her crashing against the refrigerator. I don't owe them a goddamn thing, he roared. They've more than gotten their money's worth out of me. 11-year-old JJ jumped off his chair and ran to his mother. Leave her alone, Jack ordered. She doesn't need your help. I'm all right, JJ, Valerie said between gasps. I just got the wind knocked out of me. Go back to the table. JJ stood his ground. I said, get away from her, Jack bellowed. Sit down and eat your dinner. Valerie reached out to give JJ an urgent push, but she was too late. Jack's open hand smashed across the boy's face. When I tell you to do something, boy, you do it. You don't make me tell you twice. JJ stumbled back to the table and scrambled into his chair. Blood dripping from his cut lip dripped onto his pork chop. Valerie scrambled to her feet and hurried to fetch a wet towel to press against JJ's face. The children all sat frozen. Eat, Jack told them. I'm not hungry, said 10-year-old Rosemary. I work like a dog to put food on this table, and you're not going to waste it. Not if I have to force it down your throats. The children began to gobble their food as quickly as they could, Jack standing over them, watching every forkful. JJ managed to stuff his peas and mashed potatoes and homemade applesauce past the big lump in his throat, but carefully avoided the bloodied pork chop. Everything, his father bellowed. JJ ate his pork chop. Now, everybody go to bed. Jack lowered himself into his chair and poured another bourbon. So yeah, that's basically, it's not the whole book, but it's a big part of it. And then it talks about JJ threw up his dinner while Valerie held his head and wiped his face with a damp washcloth. When I get bigger, he gasped between heaves, I'll protect you from him. She hugged him, ignoring her own pain, not wanting him to see the tears in her eyes. JJ was ashamed of the mess he made, but Valerie told him not to mind. She led him out of the bathroom and put him to bed with a song her mother used to sing. Rosemary, the 10-year-old, helped her clean it up. I think one of JJ's teeth is loose, she told her mother. Valerie looked up, startled. He didn't say anything about it. Rosemary shrugged, because he knew you'd want to take him to the dentist, and there isn't any money for it. Yeah. So, this book, it kind of, like I said, not the whole book talks about that. I mean, and actually Jack is very remorseful the next morning after he has been this way. And he, like I said, he's very, very insecure person, and he never ever wants Valerie to leave him. But he also is a big ladies' man, and he cheats on Valerie their whole marriage. Yeah. So he works at an airline, so he cheats on her with airline attendants, the luggage claim lady. Yeah. So, but one thing about Jack is he thinks he's all that. In actuality, he's not. In fact, he has an affair with one of the airline attendants. And, of course, back then they called them stewardess. And she actually lives in Hawaii. So they have an affair for like 3 or 4 years. Well, then he decides he wants to move his family, his wife and his 5 children, to Hawaii so that he can be with his with this woman more often. And she proceeds to tell him, no, I have a guy in Hawaii that I'm in love with, blah, 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 you know, and I don't want you there. In fact, I want to break up. This is the last time you're going to see me. And he gets really mad, you know, blah, 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 and she's like, you know, it was good while it lasted type thing. So anyway, then he starts to see, but he has actually, I don't know if you want to say loved her, but he did, yeah, I think he loved her. Not as much as Valerie, but he loved her, and thought he had a good thing going, you know. So anyway, then he starts seeing the luggage claim lady. And they go back to the hotel the first time, and afterwards, he says, so, can we, you know, when would you like to meet again? And she's like, I wouldn't. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I didn't get anything out of that. The other lady, the stewardess, whatever, I can't think of her name, she was right. You're no good in bed. which is hilarious to me because he, like I said, he's cheating on Valerie their whole marriage, which is like 40 years. And then for another woman to say that to him just cracked me up. But anyway, so I'm giving this book 4 stars, and I really liked, some people on Goodreads were saying they didn't think it had good character development, but I don't think, I wouldn't say that personally, because I liked it. I was into, like, Valerie's character. I thought her character was developed really well, and so was Jack's, the husband. Now the kids, what's her name? Susan Sloan. She didn't actually go real far into the kids, like their personalities and such. Now one of them she did as they grew up. He went into the service and stuff. But other than that, yeah, she really didn't. But like I said, I thought she developed the husband and the wife really good. But anyway, so I'm giving it 4 stars. And like, it's kind of a big, I mean, it's not a small book. Let's see how many pages it is. It is 467 pages. So that's kind of big, ain't it? Yeah. But anyway, it was really good. I really liked it. And if you like this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. And don't forget to check back because I'll have more videos coming up. Thanks, friends. I'll see you next time.